It's the E40. So they've got the 8-inch steel, they've got a 10-inch steel, and then they've got an 8-inch composite and a 10-inch composite. So you may think StrikeMaster, right? So they've got their steel bit, and then they've got a composite, which is they call their Lite-Flite. There's Ion, which Ion from Augers is from under the same parent company as Eskimo. So they're part of the same company above them. However, they are competing in a little bit different realms. What's unique about these? So versus the Ion auger, because I've gotten a lot of questions already around, like, you look at this 8-inch E40 composite, $579.99, really good price. You may say, well, isn't there the Alpha Plus, which is the 8-inch from the same brand? Yes, you're right. They do have that. But that right here is $679.99. So it's $100 more. What's the difference between these? Why did Eskimo come out with this? Well, Ion is always looking, their brand strategic positioning is to be the best of the best. You're going to pay a premium price. $680 for an ice fishing auger for most people, for I would say argue almost everybody, including myself. That's expensive. That's a lot of money. You can probably justify it if you're like me and you go ice fishing almost every single weekend throughout the season and you use it for things that, like, then maybe you can justify it. I have one of these and I absolutely love it. I'm going to also get an E40 auger. Here's what's different. There's two primary differences. This is the creme a la creme, or however you say that. This is the most powerful and the fastest auger on the market today, while also being one of the lightest, right? So let's look at the specs. We've got 4-amp-hour battery, which is the same as the E40 auger. It can drill up to 2,000 inches per charge, and it drills about 3.4 inches of ice per second, 15.9 pounds. Now let's compare that to the E40 composite 8-inch. The same thing that I'm telling you about carries on for the 10-inch, carries on for the steel versus steel. There's a price difference. And then there's also a performance difference. But the primary difference is, because everybody's been asking me this question, because I've had my hands on both. There's 3 differences. 1 is weight, 2 is the speed, and 3 is how many inches you're going to be able to get out of each battery. So here's the E40 composite. So we've got 1,300 inches versus 2,000. So you're going to get 700 inches, almost a third more out of an Ion battery. The Ions, they're more efficient. They just are. But you're able to save some money if you're not worried about that extra 700 inches. This is a great choice for you. 3.2 inches per second is what it cuts. If you look at the Alpha that we just looked at, 3.4. So it cuts a little bit faster. It has a more aggressive blade pattern on the Ion, and it also has, again, a more power efficient. It can go a little bit faster, eat through that ice. It's more powerful. The motor that's in it, they have different motors that are in them. And then you're going to see the weight, 13.5 pounds. And then with the Ion, you've got 15.9, both 8-inch, both composite bits. I'm going to get this auger right here, the 8-inch E40 composite, because it's going to be my running gun auger. It's lighter, and I'm going to be able to run around on the ice with it when I'm not using an ATV and I'm not using a truck. And I want to be able to do a head-to-head, show out between this and the Ion. All right. The other thing that I'm going to talk about this auger, and then we'll move on past the augers, is a lot of people are asking questions, because I also have a StrikeMaster 40-volt auger. To me, Eskimo wanted to launch this auger because they wanted to beat it price point. They wanted to beat out StrikeMaster, their competition, have a lower price, have a lighter auger, a more powerful, a more efficient auger, and a faster auger than StrikeMaster. I think they've done that. So let's look at the 40-volt Lite-Flite. So this is 40-volt for 40-volt. Composite versus composite is what we're looking at. 8-inch versus 8-inch. Price point, $579.99. These are both MSRP from the manufacturer's website. Let's compare these. $579.99 for the E40 8-inch composite. $649.99 for StrikeMaster. All right, $70 difference. $70 cheaper for the E40. Okay, $70. Maybe you get a better sale price on this. Okay, that's if they're the same, but they're not the same. Let's look at the specs. So that's 1,600 inches of ice on a charge. Okay, 1,300 versus 1,600, right? Okay, so the 40 volt can do 300 more. Yeah, that's a little bit more. I will tell you, because they don't have a measurement on here for how fast it cuts. But I will tell you this, the E40 cuts faster through the ice than the StrikeMaster does, right? So you've got the E40 faster, and then weight, 13.5 pounds. We don't know what the weight is on this. I will tell you it's a lot heavier. And here's how I'm going to prove it. StrikeMaster, in order to cater to the market of those that wanted a cheaper, lighter, faster auger, they launched the lithium 24 volt. You've probably seen this. I used to have it. I got rid of it last year because I wasn't happy with the battery performance on it. And once the Alpha Plus came out and I had gotten that, there was no reason for me to get this because the weights were very similar to each other. This is the lightest auger that StrikeMaster has. It's 24 volt. The battery's smaller. There's less battery capacity. The head unit is smaller. It doesn't have nearly as much power, but it's also using the composite bit. It is 14.3 pounds. If we go back to the E40, 8-inch composite, 40 volt, more battery power, more inches per charge, you're looking at 13.5 pounds. So this is 13.5 versus 14.3. So we've got 0.8 pounds lighter. And I would say they're pretty comparable in speed, but this one is faster as well. So you're kind of talking, a little bit of pros and cons between the two. But again, lighter, which is probably the thing people are most interested in, and cheaper. This thing's going to eat up the whole StrikeMaster line for lunch. It's not a bad auger for people that are intermittently using it. The reason why I got it is because it was the lightest auger on the market. It no longer is. The E40 is, and you get all the benefits of 40 volt auger.